Can't believe I showed y'all Hearts of Gold last night.
I'm still. Thank you for that reminder. We're recording.
Hey, she
by the way.
asked for it.
That was the first line.
Yep.
Boneless pizza. That's it. Saved it.
Tom, stop looking at waifus.
Well, sorry, I gotta do something to mentally prepare myself for this thing that we're gonna be delving into.
I am Llytic.
I'm Tom.
I'm Goldheart.
You know, you could have said Zeffy. That probably would have been less traumatic for everyone.
Save
You could have
yourself.
said Orlo.
Save yourselves the trouble. Do not look up whatever it was that Zane said it was called.
Unless you're
golden...
Tom.
No.
Unless
God
your name
no.
is Tom, you can look at it.
You should look at it.
I don't want.
You really
No.
shouldn't. It's like really bad.
I don't want to, and I'm not going to.
Alright, subscribe to the Patreon. We'll force him to read the entire thing.
No.
Yes.
If we can get 5 likes.
5 likes of this video, and Tom will read. We will hold this man at gunpoint.
No.
We will fly to Kansas.
No, don't. Okay, I mean, I'm at a bypass here because I want people to like the videos so we get a little more circulation. But I don't want to have to be forced to read this because apparently it's majority rules here.
Anyway, welcome back to What Are We Reading?
We're reading some more Back to the Frollo.
I don't know
Because
what
yesterday's reprieve couldn't last forever.
Unfortunately.
Chapter 16. Darcy. It all makes sense
really?
now.
Did you
Does
link
it?
me the story?
Hang on. I left a link earlier. I'll leave it. I'll leave it again. Hang on.
We got so distracted by roleplay games.
Woo, notice this bulge. What's this?
Wrong
The
kind
dice-
of roleplay.
The dice kind.
If you dare say that during the campaign.
Well, no, it's just if we're going off what my character will be like, some people will notice a bulge and some people won't. And it'll be really confusing if those people are next to each other.
Not even noticeable, just, ooh, what's this?
Woo, what is this?
What?
So when are we gonna fight the Uwu monster?
Hopefully never.
That'll be the first extra-dimensional horror.
Okay.
Just a huge Uwu.
I forgot how messed up.
Ko-Uulu.
I forgot how messed up these paragraphs are. I just imagine Cthulhu, but like with like an anime Neko face on him, rather
Or
than
would it be Cthulhu?
either or. It's more horrifying than the original.
Cthulhu's
worse
actually.
This is worse than when Zane decided to give it Excalibur.
Oh yeah. You're king now.
Oh my god. Right, I'm gonna read my paragraph now.
Did you make that?
No, I wish
Okay.
I did.
Shutterstock.
Yeah.
The true Cthulhu. Shutterstock.
Tom, read your line.
I'm sorry. I'm just looking. I'm looking at the picture. The second picture wasn't loading. Jackie introduced me to Madame Darcy, who had welcomed Jackie into her home 2 months earlier. Madame Darcy would have been alone for most of the summer, for her husband and son were in England on family business, and her niece and new husband were honeymooning in southern France. She was grateful to have Jacqueline, as she called Jackie, to keep her company for the balance of summer. Okay, are we in the past or are we in the future? I'm kind of
In the
confused
past.
already. Okay.
Why does it say it's Irish?
Because
Looking
No,
for the
I
French version. Or is there not a French version? Did the writer just make shit up?
probably.
Doesn't help that there's not a pronunciation.
Sorry, we've already started on a mistake.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Well,
BabyNameWizard.com.
Now, Cloud and Madame Darcy were deep in conversation. Oh gosh,
Are you okay?
no. I took Jackie and Fern aside and finally asked them, "Is this why you didn't want me to come inside? Because of that sweet old lady?" What? Jackie then explained that the Darcys were her French ancestors.
Okay, we're back at the manor. Okay, I forgot
Yes.
what we were for a second.
We figured out that the person from the future is for some reason a spy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
That was
that's the
stupid.
last thing that happened.
Future crime.
I'm pretty sure if she was a spy for some Frenchman, he'd try to, make French the superpower of the world.
So the elephant
France.
would beat the whale.
Yeah, I guess.
If none of you if like people don't understand what that's referring to, back during the rise of Britain and France as like national powers at the time, England had the most powerful navy in the world at the time, while France had the most powerful army. So they were respectively referred to as the whale and the elephant.
So yeah, I guess the elephant would beat the whale.
Yeah.
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 Well, elephants can swim.
Not as well as whales.
True. But what if they're like mutant elephants that have gills?
Well, then my evolve deck has been working. I still love how you fucked me over in the beginning and I still killed you.
Yes, yeah.
That's the first thing I... Oh,
you're still mad at me for using Star of Extinction too many times, aren't you?
Yes! I hate that card.
I love that card.
Time to make a deck with only that card.
My decks are literally built around being a dick. And you keep getting that. I literally have multiple cards in one of my decks that gets rid of your top 10.
Yeah, I remember that one.
And he still gets Star of whatever.
Yep.
He still keeps on pulling out Star of Extinction. It's bullshit.
Because summoning meteorites is always a good way to end.
See, that's the good thing about my Eldrazi deck. Cthulhu doesn't give much of a shit about a meteor.
Well, it still deals 20 damage, and I'm pretty sure...
Not if it's indestructible.
If it's indestructible, then that's just a whole nother can of worms. But,
Exactly.
Uh,
Anyway, that's the first thing I did when I invented the Time Traveler. I wanted to research my family tree, replied Jackie. I guess all that time spent studying quantum physics and advanced calculus paid off.
okay. Well, I mean, if you're talking theoretical physics, but...
Does that go into Tom's line, or is this still mine?
I think it's mine now, honestly.
All right, then read.
Okay. Jackie glanced lovingly at Mademoiselle Darcy. Then Fern explained further, "We're keeping this to ourselves. She doesn't even know. We can't risk affecting outcomes." I mulled over the last statement. Can't risk affecting outcomes.
Okay, for the French, it's literally just that the emphasis is put on the second syllable. So English, it's Darcy, and French, it's Darcy.
Darcy, okay.
Darcy.
Okay, I'll try to remember that.
Merci beaucoup.
Fern then went on to explain that was why I was kept in the dark, that is, until Quad Frollo revealed nearly everything. So you're saying that Quad Frollo is going to break time and space?
Yes. Frollo is a singularity. Jackie, looking at Claude, was now conversing with Kyle, smiled, and said, "We had a feeling he'd tell you sooner or later. He's terrible at keeping secrets." I mean, don't even get me started whenever don't even get me started on the time he started telling people that purgatory was a scam.
Nani?
Okay, if you want to like get context for that joke, look up the purgatory sentence shortening vouchers that the Catholic Church would sell during the medieval era to fund the building of new churches.
I believe it's called, what are they called? Buying... it's part of what Martin Luther broke away from the Catholic Church and made the Protestant Church for.
It's like literally like the Catholic Church was telling people that apparently the waiting room for whenever you get sorted into heaven or hell is just hell again.
Purgatory is more...
hell light.
Purgatory is more preparation time to get put into heaven. It's like if you have any
You still get tortured.
Yeah, if you get
And if memory serves, you can still be sorted into hell from there.
Wait, you get tortured in purgatory?
Yes.
It's more of a willing punishment from what I've read. It's like you go into purgatory.
Point is, the Catholic Church came up with it in order to get money off of their followers.
Yeah.
Wait, purgatory is not even referenced in the Bible.
Not once.
Nope. It is in the part of it's referenced in the Catholic Bible and some of the I can't remember what the title for it is called. That
the whole thing about traditional Catholicism is that the only people that were ever actually given access to the Bible in the church were
the clergy.
Priests. Yeah, were the clergy, and it was in Latin. The common people could not speak or read Latin. And so they literally just had to go off of whatever the clergy was saying.
Mm-hmm. Which,
granted, the Catholic Church was also believed in a heliocentric solar system and stuff like that. But once the Protestant Church was started up, that was one of the things that the Catholic Church was also judged for, which basically, in order to stop that judgment, they more or less got rid of their science division. So Galileo was allied by the Catholic Church.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that people were attacked. It's not that the church was attacking him. They only started going against what he had discovered after Martin Luther popped up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the guy was like, "Yeah, you guys are like bullshit.
You guys are going against what the Bible is saying."
Yeah.
Here's all the reasons why, by the way.
I will
your
nail
science.
I'll nail it to the door for all to see.
He did.
In a language that they can actually read.
Yep, he did. He did that.
And so it's one of those kind of hilarious things of like taking the good with the bad and when it comes to history.
Mm-hmm.
Did that man get executed, or what happened to him?
Nope. He I think he died of old age. Like he got excommunicated from the church.
Excommunicated.
So, but like he was like, you know what? I don't believe what you believe, so that doesn't affect me.
Which resulted in the Lutheran Church. And then you also have the which church was it that England started?
The Church of England.
Yeah, the Church of England, which was started up because the king wasn't allowed to divorce a second time.
Yeah, and he was upset about it.
According to Catholicism, you were given one divorce.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yes. But his second wife wasn't bearing him a son, so he decided, you know what, fuck it, I'm divorcing her. Oh, you won't let me divorce? Fine, I'll make my own church with blackjack and hookers and alcohol. Part of that might be paraphrasing.
Yeah, not to mention it's the male side of the reproduction cycle that decides whether it's a boy or a girl, so it was technically his fault.
Yes. Which, if it's the same king, I'm thinking he also technically exploded after he died. Because that was the one that had the eating problem, right?
I don't remember.
It was literally like it. Because whenever a person dies, the gases in their body start to expand. Now, if that person is over 400 pounds, it will literally. He literally detonated in his coffin, blew it open, and dogs started feasting on his corpse.
Wow!
Oh God!
That's an interesting metaphor for.
If memory serves, every night he was so paranoid that every night he had his door bricked up so that people couldn't sneak in and assassinate him.
Good Lord.
Did he brick it himself?
No, he had his guards do it.
So he trusted his guards.
He had his guards sit outside of a bricked up door.
Oh, it was bricked from that side.
I'm awake! You can unbrick the door now!
Because I'm just thinking, like, what if they kill the guards and de-brick it?
If memory serves, it was like full brick wall construction in the doorway.
That sounds like it would get real expensive real fast.
Well, you have these funds when you're king. Anyway, she tried not to break out in laughter as she moved her eyes from me, then Claude, then back to me. Burns said you two have become quite an item.
Richer.
I returned the smile, coolly saying, well, let's just say His Grace and I are real close friends.
You okay there?
Claude glanced over at me. I guess he picked up on the giggles coming from our side of the room. He came over to me while Kaya was still conversing with
Mademoiselle.
me. Oh, that's Mademoiselle?
Mademoiselle, yes.
Mademoiselle Darcy. Did they tell you everything? I linked my arm in his and replied, almost, but I am still not clear on. What?
How I knew where to start digging? Who filled the holes in my research? Said Jackie, directing our attention to another elderly lady entering the room. Ask Aunt Pearl.
Pearl Darcy? Isn't that Jackie's daddy's aunt? His 95-year-old aunt?
What?
Nani?
Ah, so she was the wizard of the family.
Wizard did it. The spooky did it.
Spooky's House of Horrors? Or Haunted House, or whatever it's called?
Spooky's house. I think it got changed. I think it was originally Spooky's House of Jump Scares.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was like kind of like making fun of the whole thing. Is like you think it's gonna be nothing but jump scares, and all of a sudden you have shit trying to murder you.
It actually turns really kind of into a brilliant horror game later on.
You have a room full of killer deer at one point.
Oh
Yep.
yeah, I've seen the game. It's just
And they take way too many axe hits.
And I think killing them does like a bad thing later in the game. I think you're not supposed to kill them.
It might. There's also the mermaid.
Ooh, the mermaid's from that's like callback to another thing if I remember.
Yes. I just remember the fact that like you have to stay up on top of the crates.
Yeah.
Because the moment you enter the water, it knows where you are.
There's the game like that, yeah.
I need to watch the playthrough I watched of that again, because if I remember correctly, that was a really interesting novel idea that you don't see in a whole lot of horror games that come out and just like, oh, we're just gonna do jump scares all the time. And I don't know. Had a kind of cutesy cartoon style, and then that fluctuated between really fun and horrifying.
I mean, that's honestly par for the course for a lot of things.
Mm-hmm. Even so, it was still interesting and charming in my opinion.
I believe we're waiting on Zane's.
Yeah.
I thought I just finished.
You're on Sure Enough now.
Sure enough, all eyes were on the petite lady entering the room. I only saw her twice in my life, once when I was a little kid and at Jackie's high school graduation.
She suddenly collapsed to the floor and crumbled into a pile of dust.
No, her eyes just rolled into the back of her head. She started levitating, and the ground just started shaking.
No, I'm just imagining she's so old that she crumbled into a pile of dust.
Yeah, in Amnesia Dark Descent, there's a water monster that has similar mechanics.
Yeah, but that one's invisible.
Yeah, and that just kind of leaves it more to a psychological horror game. You just know something for you, but you don't know what it looks like, so you imagine.
Which was also part of the problem with the Machine for Pigs.
Yeah.
Because basically, without the insanity, like for lack of a better term, weak sauce insanity thing, basically meant that you could stare at things no matter how much you wanted, however much you wanted, and face no negative repercussions to it.
Machine for Pigs had a really interesting soundtrack. What I've heard, a really good soundtrack, like music-wise, but like I've read some reviews, and apparently the gameplay wasn't super good on that one.
Aunt Pearl steadily and cautiously made her way into the room. She fell and broke her hip.
Oh.
Are you seriously feeling anything for a character from this story?
I mean, it's a little old lady. I mean,
So she's in this story.
That does... Okay, just speak... I mean, I guess so.
She was leaning
Tom's
on
a good boy. He doesn't like to hurt old ladies.
Tom's a good boy. He doesn't like to talk about Bush.
The bush of a lady?
That was the joke.
Don't know how that's relevant, but okay.
That was immediately what happened when you left.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey.
She was leaning on a cane. At 95, she still had the picture of elegance and grace in her
Not
wallet.
really.
I just imagine Agnes from the first Pokemon Elite Four game, like just like I don't know why, just like rather than elegance and grace, just like a severe looking woman who looks like she would probably take her cane and beat you over the head with it and would cause you to black out.
Majority of people in my life. Her floor-length beige-colored linen dress with its matching wide-brimmed hat and low-heeled pumps highlighted her cafe au lait complexion. That literally just means milk and coffee.
Oh, okay. Her face, slightly dusted with powder and rouge, looked surprisingly young and vital despite Pearl's advanced years. Kyle offered to help Pearl to her chair, but she politely refused. "Thank you, honey," she said in a warm, loving voice, "but I can manage. Been doing it for all these years."
The murder keeps me fresh.
I eat the hearts of young maidens every spring, and it reinvigorates me.
I hide out in back alleys, hoping for people to try and step to me, and then I eviscerate them.
It keeps one surprisingly spry. Her cane, it's like she has the threaded cane from Bloodborne. It turns into like a whip weapon.
I'm just imagining it's one of those like concealed blade canes.
Yeah,
which like unlock and pull blade out.
No, but like the threaded cane is like a.
I know how the threaded cane works.
Okay, but like I don't know. I like the concealed blade is cool, but I think the idea of just a threaded cane is just I like it better.
Honestly, like my problem with those kinds of weapons is the fact that if you ever tried to get one to work in real life, it wouldn't.
Yeah, probably not. But
same with the chainsword.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean a sword with a chainsaw blade.
But I mean, if you're trying to play video games live, then I mean that's your problem.
Well, excuse me for wanting weapons to be practical.
It's
Are you the kind of person that loves it when some shitty-looking gun pops up in an action comic?
Okay, it's the
fucking stupid.
It's the FromSoft games. Do you honestly expect weapons to be practical?
I consider the fucking like tentacle parasite to be practical.
That's a ridiculous freaking weapon too, man. Like,
but it's something that could work. If you had the ability to literally just manipulate jointless like octopus limbs as weapons, you could use that.
Okay, so I'm assuming you don't like the pizza cutter saw blade thing either.
That's just awesome.
Yeah, okay, and like
a chainsword is overdone.
Okay,
that's literally what the threaded cane is. It's a chainsword.
It is a chainsword, but you don't have to use it in chainsword format. You can just beat them over the head with a walking stick.
The saw cleaver honestly appeals to me both on more of an aesthetic level and just on how it works.
Okay, threaded cane, I think, is probably a throwback to the original Wolfman movie in which he beat the Wolfman to death with a silver walking cane. So I think that's kind of a cool literature tie-in with horror stuff like that.
Yeah, and the cricket bat in Left 4 Dead 2 is a callback to Shaun of the Dead. What's your point?
My point is, I like the threaded cane, and no matter what you argue, you're not going to change my opinion. So why are you trying?
Shut up about it already so we can get going. You never want to talk about the story we're reading, but whenever it comes to inane bullshit...
Wait, what?
Yeah, well...
No. I thought she complained because he only talks about the story. What?
No. He never talks about the story. He merely reads the line.
But he's not doing that right now.
He's doing neither.
Yeah, it's Zane's
like
line.
What we do.
The whole thing, like what we're supposed to be doing is riffing on the story we're reading.
I don't know. We get pretty distracted too, dude.
Tom never riffs on the story.
I just try to endure it. Like, I could riff on this. It's like,
yeah, it would probably be a lot more cathartic than just sitting there in silence.
Yeah, probably.
Ferd, Kyle, and Jackie excuse themselves from the room. All Jackie could say was that she and Fern were preparing something special for Sunday dinner.
Children!
Oh, I was gonna think whatever the name of this girl was for this story. Like, she knows too much, she must die.
Oh, the main character?
Yeah.
We're cooking up Denisha. Pearl settled herself into a chair next to Mademoiselle Darcy, turned to her and said, Mary Louise, you have a lovely garden. What nice gentleman staying with that nice gentleman staying with you showed me all of your flowers and trees. Mademoiselle Darcy replied, "What nice gentleman? I live alone." She then turned to Claude, looked at him for several seconds, and smiled and said at last, "Looks something like you, but younger and not as grand."
Huh? Okay,
I'm pretty sure it's obviously supposed to be stating that Marie Louise is related to Jean-Claude Frollo.
Woo?
Okay.
It's like the most obvious thing to draw from that.
Hey.
I can't take this story seriously. I'm sorry.
That's...
Read, Tom!
Okay, yeah, fine. Claude Frollo looked puzzled, then glanced at Mademoiselle Darcy with questioning eyes.
He's a bastard!
I managed to catch his eye and mouth. Who? What? Claude quickly shook his head. His face registered utter, yet pleasant, surprise as another figure entered the room. Okay.
It's his wife. I studied this tall, slender man approaching us. I could readily see the family resemblance, but whereas Claude was serious, austere, meticulous, and carried himself with a regal air, this man's entire demeanor suggested endless pleasure and I don't care attitude towards life.
I like him more already.
Was that really an attitude people had back then, though?
Not really, no.
Yeah, like I don't think
that's
they could
the kind
afford...
of thing that could get you executed by anyone higher up that you just told fuck off.
Well, not even that, but like I don't think you can afford to be lazy back then.
Well, there's a difference between lazy and nihilistic.
You know, the thing is, we're just assuming that he's from the past. Maybe he's a future relative of Claude Frollo and Denisha.
Like, all I'm gonna say is I find not giving a shit to be a lot healthier.
It can be.
Social convention is just terrible. It's not helpful at all. It's the exact opposite of helpful. The man walked up to Aunt Pearl and handed her something. "I believe you dropped these during our walk." She thanked him as she took her gloves. He then turned to Claude, who tried to keep his surprise in check. "Claude told me everything about his brother Jahan." Or Jahan?
I don't know.
I felt I already knew him, even before this meeting.
Okay, then. Claude.
That alligator is not too happy right now.
It'd be more interesting if it was like an evil twin, like in Light and Dark. That would have.
Well, he is an evil twin, in that he seems to be a more likable person.
Oh, okay.
He's the evil twin of Judge Claude Frollo.
Oh, wait, no. Frollo's the evil twin. Gotcha.
Wait, what?
What?
There's twins now? What?
I don't know.
It seems he's related.
Claude Jahan warmly began as he clasped the elder brother's hands. Okay, so he's his younger brother.
He's still the evil one in that he's likable.
I really wanted to come to Paris, make myself known, but I was having such a lovely time here. Mademoiselle Darcy insisted I stay. Then I met this charming lady. He smiled at Pearl Darcy as if she were an old friend.
Claude told me John had a habit of, oh no, sponging off not one, but two sweet old ladies. This man is too much.
He's just looking for a sugar mama.
Oh, exactly, yeah.
Oh.
Now he has two.
Hey.
Two is better than one, after all.
I respect this man's hustle. Claude greeted his brother, to my surprise, in a manner like, Jahan, you could have informed me. I'm glad you're here. You look well.
He was obviously lying. He never complimented.
He never compliments anyone. Unless he wants to kill them. And fuck them. At the same time.
That about sums it up. Jahan then turned to me and said, "So, you're the one." What did he mean by that? Does Jahan know that Claude and I are lovers?
Gee, yes. I wonder.
Claude Frollo, sensing the slight tension in my expression, quickly spoke. "This is Fern's friend." As he took my hand in complete introductions. She's very pretty. Jihan smilingly said, "Oh, I'm feeling another sickness come up.
Oh, come on, get down
Twins
with the
make me sick.
sickness.
Better
Slice
out
one
than
glance.
in.
Ew, no." At his brother as if to say, "Wait, did I just skip a line?" Yeah. Gene smilingly said, then he leaned over and whispered to Claude's ear, "You always did, Quad Frollo," sensing the slight. Wait. Is that
Always.
really what?
You skipped the line again.
You always did have excellent
Always did
taste.
have excellent taste. With that, Claude and Jihan broke down in laughter and embraced each other just like loving brothers.
Oh, Claude is definitely planning to stab this dude in the back later on.
Or he's planning on stabbing Claude in the back, in which case I applaud him. Just a sec. Wait. Come on. There we go. Oh, yeah. Claude told me that he had raised Johann from a baby ever since the death of their parents. He tried to instill in his brother the same virtues that had made Claude a successful man.
However,
You suck.
I don't
however,
want to have the same virtues as Judge Claude Frollo.
however, Jahan liked to gamble and have fun, drifting from one thing to
Oh
another.
no, fun!
Because apparently that's a bad thing, at least in Claude Frollo's mind. He was almost always broke. I know a few people like that. I see one every time I look in the mirror. Always broke part, anyway. Claude loved
You
his...
really need to kick your Reflections gambling habits.
Yeah, probably. Claude loved his brother dearly, despite Jahan's shortcomings. Okay, this came out of... Can I just say this came out of left field? Like...
This whole thing has come out of left field.
I know, but like even for this story, it's like, okay, so Claude Frollo has a brother. Where are we going with this?
Twincest.
Ooh.
Flashback to Game of Thrones.
Da 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 da.
Is it my line?
Yep.
Where Minister Frollo?
Yes.
Minister Frollo! Said Mimi Darcy. I don't care if that's Mademoiselle, by the way. Don't even say it. Your brother
Mimi Darcy.
has
Zayn.
been absolutely wonderful. Even with Jacqueline here, the two old ladies are grateful for his company. Claude
And
just
his dick.
slight smile and glanced at his brother to say, "Oh, I know why you're here. You'll never change."
Dick.
He was trying to bone the old ladies.
Nice.
Ay.
The Gilf Hunter.
Tom is uncomfortable.
You're always uncomfortable.
Not always.
Yes.
Uh,
You're stuck with two people who have a relatively healthy attitude towards sex.
hey.
Oh,
It's,
shit.
your line.
Yeah, Kyle then returned to the room to announce dinner was ready. Mademoiselle Darcy then proudly announced that, "My dear Jacqueline, Jacqueline, I think that actually be pronounced. Or Jacqueline? I don't know. And her friends have prepared a special dinner." She then turned to Kyle and asked, "Now, young man, what is the main course?" "Me!"
Children.
Lays down on table. Strips off pants. Only pants.
Kyle replied, "What you are about to experience is a summertime Sunday dinner that is common in the New World. That is, my part of the world."
Ooh, is it chicken and waffles? That should taste good.
Maybe.
Or is it gator? Gator also tastes good.
Yes. Let's go with gator because gator sounds delicious right now.
Gator and waffles.
Ooh, that could be interesting to try.
Just fried chunks of gator with waffles and smother the entire thing with syrup.
Not syrup, honey.
Yes, syrup.
Well, honey would be
What?
good too.
Talking about
Gosh, eat
gator
it
and
plain.
waffles.
No, eat it plain. No syrup, no honey.
Why would-
Straight.
What's the
Ah.
point of eating waffles if you don't use syrup?
I don't eat anything straight.
How about plain? Yeah, that's right. I'm gonna derail your joke. Fuck you. Is it my line?
Yes, it's your line.
Hurley laughed as she added, "Isn't that something to come all the way to France just to eat Fern's fried chicken?"
I was half right.
Fried
Claude's
chicken is
eyes
good.
wide in anticipation.
Stop it.
He looked at me and said, "Fried chicken, you promised me such a meal, remember?" Shut the fuck up, Quad. Go get your goddamn chicken. Just calm it down.
Again, I have to wonder what would happen if you fed someone from the medieval era fried food.
Yeah, it would be hilarious in Claude Frollo's case.
As he shits out his intestines.
Hey.
He started laughing as I helped Pearl to her feet. Jehan escorted the ladies to the dining room. I then took Claude Frollo aside and whispered in his ear, "Well, we were, busy," referring to that crazy, passion-filled fuck night.
Stop reminding us of that. Come on.
Fucking.
Claude was...
Intercourse. Insertion.
hang on a sec. I have a picture for this.
Cunnilingus.
I'll read my line in a sec. You just reminded me of something that was pretty funny.
Oral.
Or according to my friends, anal. I'm just kidding. All my friends think eating ass is dishonorable.
Pegging.
Dishonorable, huh? It's just... You know what? I can't find it.
So long as they've cleaned it.
Hey. Claude was overcome with humor as he escorted me to the dining room.
Oh,
A traditional Sunday dinner served in countless homes across the Midwest. Fried chicken, mashed potatoes, corn, hot bread. Where's the fucking cornbread, huh? Green beans, sliced tomatoes, Fern's homemade blackberry cobbler.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Yeah.
I had some blackberry cobbler. I had a
Just
blackberry
cobbler in general.
Yeah, I had a blackberry
cheesecake.
I had a blackberry cobbler at a local barbecue joint, and that was really good. They served it hot and everything.
I don't know. Cobblers never appealed to me.
To each their own.
It was the meal that Mademoiselle Darcy, Claude, nor Jehan had never experienced. Well, now I'm just going to try anal harder.
Over the course of the summer, I served Claude a variety of Native American foods, of which he liked pecans and corn best. Pecans are pretty good.
Yeah.
Corn.
Corn is good too.
Corn.
Corn.
Gotta love me some good old fashioned corn. Say,
want to see what I can do with this corn cob?
Helping himself to seconds, or was it thirds? Who cares? And I like the red things, tomatoes. The conversation was...
Whenever the conquistadors first came across tomatoes, they thought they were horrifically poisonous.
Well, they are.
Partly because of the fact that they're closely related to nightshade.
Huh. Interesting. That I
I
didn't
saw
know.
one of the natives come up, eat it like, the fuck's wrong with y'all? It's tomato.
I just fucking hate this texture.
Just eats the tomato like an apple.
Hell!
The conversation was as delicious as the food. What?
Typos!
I don't know if I'd call conversation delicious, but okay.
Have you ever eaten words?
No.
You should try.
Mademoiselle Darcy praised Fern's culinary talents, and Aunt Pearlie, who nodded at Jackie, said, "Jackie cooked the beans just like I taught her and her mama."
Now I know who to blame for the travesty.
But were they using mayo here at this point in time?
Mayo is dead and the millennials killed it. Thank fuck. We don't have to deal with that shit.
Hey. More of a Miracle Whip person anyway.
I leaned over to Pearl and whispered, "When are you going to tell us family history?" Pearl whispered back, "Mary Louise always takes a nap after dinner. All of you will know about the Darcys then."
Prepare for a lore dump. Ugh.
Claude had his brother in stitches as Claude repeated that Hoosier and the Kentuckian story.
Yeah.
Your word for that.
What?
I read it on my own time. It's stupid. You should feel bad for writing it.
Ooh.
I had a feeling it would be that way. Typically,
Yep.
if someone makes a big deal about how funny a joke is, it's shit.
Yep.
Fern laughed and whispered to me, "Well, I seen someone been telling those stories again. I really wish you wouldn't."
It's really dumb.
Jahan then asked about other Native American foods. Fern, you talked about pumpkins. I understand they're only available in the... Not necessarily true, but it's best to harvest them then. Fern nodded, then I piped up. Jahan, why don't you and Claude come for Thanksgiving dinner? Then you can eat all the pumpkin pie you want. Jahan looked puzzled.
No.
What's Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving? What is that? He asked.
God damn it. Well, you know that one period of fasting in England? Yeah, it's at the same time as that, but we gorge ourselves and have our racist uncle say shit he really shouldn't.
Blasphemy! And they die.
For the last time, Uncle, carbon-based life is not threatening to wipe out the universe.
It depends on the dimension you visit.
Claude knowingly replied, "A holiday unique to their part of the New World. They set aside a day to give thanks for their country's bounty." All eyes were on Claude as he continued. "They celebrate with family gatherings and serve food native to their country. All in celebration of murder."
Yes. Basically.
Dun, dun. I thought most of those people died from sickness, though.
It was.
A lot of them died of sickness. There were the ones that pissed off the natives by shitting on their lifestyle.
Mhm. The natives were like, "Oh, we'll throw you a bone and help you out a little bit." They had a nice dinner. Then the immigrants started killing the natives.
The only reason why the natives came over to that festival was because of the fact that they heard a whole bunch of gunshots going off.
What the hell are these people doing?
Basically! They decided to celebrate with target shooting, and the natives were like, "Who the fuck is firing guns at this hour?"
What the fuck is a gun? That's the real question.
I'm pretty sure at that point they'd been well acquainted with a gun. Many of their own had probably been shot to death with them.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, it's that weapon that's only reserved for the most cowardly amongst you.
Dang, that's what they said? Cowardly.
I'm sorry, but it takes much less skill to use than a bow and arrow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, but you
It
know what
takes-
shoots farther? Probably the bow and arrow right now, let's be real.
At that point, probably.
Yeah.
Probably a lot more accurately, weirdly enough.
Mm-hmm.
It just takes a lot less strength to fire it.
And
You
with
don't
the
need to
black
work on your back muscles.
with the black powder guns, it was actually probably more efficient to use a bow and arrow because it's like they wouldn't have to reload for 1 minute to fire again. So
how's that cowardly when you need to be closer, and if you miss, you're pretty much screwed?
Because you aren't strong enough to save your ass.
affix bayonets or use the thing like a club.
You...
It's a big stock of metal and wood. You can definitely
I'm
use
just
it like a
thinking
club.
somebody's just like, well, I don't got any more bullets, and he just starts charging, holding his gun in his hands, and he's just swinging at people.
Whap! Whap!
I'm just flashing back to that time a hunter ended up getting shot by a fox because he tried to beat it to death with the butt of his gun, and the fox accidentally pulled the trigger with its paw.
Okay, first of all, he should have fired off the gun to begin with to try and kill the fox.
No, he did shoot it. It was still alive.
Then how did the fox shoot the gun again?
Because the fox tried to defend itself.
Okay, wait, was this like a modern thing? So it
This
had
was modern.
Okay, well, okay, so he should have shot it again.
I mean, in my opinion, he shouldn't have gone fox hunting.
Yeah, no, that's not. Foxes aren't a nuisance, so that shouldn't be a thing. But if you are gonna hunt something, don't try to. If you're gonna be shooting something, don't try to beat it to death with the gun unless it's absolutely necessary.
Punch the trout.
That reminds me of a scene from Secondhand Lions.
Fuck, where are we? Because
Uh,
Tom knocked us off our rhythm.
Okay, you're blaming me for everything. I
am.
Okay.
Kyle, his eyes wide with amazement, said, "Wow, you're great. Well, Your Grace, you sure know a lot about our country." Then Claude Frollo glanced lovingly at me. "My boy." Wait.
My
My boy. I had a marvelous teacher. I tried to be modest about it all. Indeed, I had told Claude much about American history and culture. Probably a terrible idea.
Probably. Pearl then
He's
said.
selling drugs to the people he doesn't like in order to keep them in check.
Pearl then said to Jahan, "Honey, if you come by my house, you better bring your appetite because I cook everything: turkey, ham, cornbread, greens, sheetlins. I don't know what those
Children?
Children?
are. Yeah. Well, she did say everything, so. Oh, okay. Ew.
Jahan interrupted.
Yeah, no. Sorry, I was looking up sheetlins. It's Zane's line. Yeah.
Yeah, Zane's line.
What? My line?
Yep.
Jahan interrupted.
Are you sure?
No,
Are you
but
really
go ahead
that
and do it.
squeamish over intestines, Tom?
It just doesn't look appetizing to me. Then again, I've never tried it, so I guess I should try it and reserve judgment for that. But like,
We need to get an
Sold
October
some
bag.
haggis.
Tell us what's okay to eat, like the heart of an elk.
You
Jihan
get yourself
interrupted.
some haggis, some...
yeah, haggis' stomach. That's less squeamish than You know what?
It could be testicles.
Those are
some
actually
Rocky Mountain
not.
oysters.
Those are actually not bad.
Jihan interrupted. Beg pardon, madame, but what are chitlins? Jackie
What is
looked at
chillin'?
me. I looked at Ferns, whose face registered a certain level of disgust. She looked at Jihan squarely and as I said, "Jihan, my mama cooked those things every Christmas." I just said to Jihan, "Sugar, don't ask what they are. You don't want
You skipped a line. You skipped 2 lines.
And Thanksgiving, she makes sure to set that stinking part right next to me because she knew I hated him."
Everyone...
That's a healthy relationship.
That seems like most families I've come across since I came here. Everyone except Jahan started laughing. I had told Claude all about Fern's chitlin story a few days ago. He then asked the same question.
I just said to Jahan,
Sugar,
Sugar, don't ask what they are. You don't want to know.
It's intestine.
Pig intestine, to be precise.
Or cow intestine.
Yeah.
That sucks.
It's your line, Zane.
I know.
Okay. Just
Fuck.
Just checking.
I know. That said, we continue to enjoy a pleasant Sunday afternoon dinner and a lively conversation.
With our live band.
Beastie Boys gonna kicking it live.
Hopefully it's none of the songs with pedophilia jokes.
I don't know. I was quoting No Sleep Till Brooklyn because that's the only song I know by them, and that's the only song I want to know.
The Darcys fell on hard times since the 18th century. Some of the family began immigrating to the American colonies. Pearl began explaining how the French Darcys became the American Darcys.
Mademoiselle Darcy had gone upstairs for her after-dinner nap. Everyone else gathered around Aunt Pearl as she began to recount her family's history.
Nobody cares.
Yeah.
My great-grandfather was Henry Darcy. He settled near Lake Charles, Louisiana, bought some land, and started a small sugar plantation.
He owned several slaves.
Yeah.
But of course.
Of course. Are you going to take over the world? Of course. Claude asked Pearl, how are you related to the Darcys? And how did the name change to Darcy? It's just a difference of emphasis.
Why are we having a lore dump? We don't need this. We don't need this story.
I don't care about the intricacies of a side character's family.
Pearl paused a few moments.
I don't care about the intricacies of the main character's family.
Then, collecting her thoughts, continued the history lesson. Why?
No one cares about the history.
Now, you all who are living in these times have to understand. Don't tell anyone else what I'm about to tell you. Okay. Or else, she paused and glanced around at the
I will murder all of you.
She paused and glanced around at the visitors from the 20th century. None of us would be here right now.
I'm gonna go sell you out to the French government. Bye!
Please, spare us this pain.
So that's what Fern meant by not changing the outcome. If anyone altered the past, I wouldn't be here with Claude now.
Multiverse theory.
I'm pretty sure you're
Claude
altering...
just tells his family never to move to America.
Pretty sure you're altering the past by hooking up with Claude Frollo anyway, so, like...
Unless this is some weird predestination shit.
Hey.
In which she would always hook up with Claude Frollo. Go back in time and hook up with Claude Frollo, because that's how a weird linear timeline works.
Hey.
Burl continued. Henry had a son, Jean-Paul. He had my great-grandfather. He was my great-grandfather. Well, he had a wife, but he also had a mistress. That was Sally, one of the house slaves. I knew it!
Mm-hmm.
Claude and Jehan were both visibly disturbed at the word slave.
They probably wouldn't be, honestly.
They would not. They would not be.
Hey. That's right, Claude, I said as I held his hand. America has a dark, ugly past.
Every country has a dark, ugly past. If you're not ashamed of your country's history, you don't know it.
Claude's eyes were now scanning my entire face.
That explains your coloring, your features, the brown skin, the full lips.
Get a room!
If she has brown skin, I'm pretty sure Claude Frollo would be less interested.
Probably.
Speaking as like the original character, yes.
The full lips your hair.
Also, there's just something a bit unsettling about using the phrase full lips to compliment someone.
Your African ancestors were never willing immigrants.
Yes, thank you for stating the obvious.
Claude looked somewhat bewildered as he fingered a lock of my hair.
Ew.
Ah, so you're a slave, so I can own you.
Oh, God.
Well, you're not going back home.
He then turned to Pearl and said, "She's been telling me of your country's history, about slavery, about the war."
Pearl looked at him with reassuring eyes. Yes, and we managed to rise above it all. She leaned over and patted his hand, then continued.
Oh, dear.
Okay. I hate lore dumps. That's just a, like... Ugh.
Unless they serve a purpose to the story, they don't need to belong. And they don't need to be here. And this serves no purpose. Except pointing out, hey, America has a fucked up past. And yes, there are several people that ignore that. After all, the kind of people who bitch about what's the word I'm looking for? Like the trophies for not winning. Just the kind of people that bitch about participation trophies are the same kind of people who hang the flag of a country that lost the war. But
hey. You know, used to be it was about how you played the game, not who won or lost, and now it's
that's not how it is with war, Tom.
I know, but like I'm talking more on the participation trophies thing, and it's like, it's just dumb.
Anyway, Zane, have fun with this line.
Jean, Paul, and Sally had a baby boy. That would be my grandfather, Joseph. He was so light he could pass, of course, in those days. Oh. A drop of
Negro blood.
The black colored pencil, or black colored crayon. You know.
Spanish word for black.
Or negro. And a slave if you were living in the South. Are they really about to act like Claude Frollo gives a shit?
Are they really going to act like he probably didn't own slaves?
Yep. That's what it seems to be going for in this.
Would not be surprised if the Jean-Claude Frollo from either the book or the movie owned slaves. Hell, he practically had one in the form of Quasimodo.
Yep. But,
shit. Jahan then asked, "And what happened to your grandfather?" Pearl took out a lacy handkerchief, genteelly blotting her face, then continued.
After the war and emancipation, my grandfather moved to moved north to Tennessee near Gallatin. Pearl's eyes on me as she said, "Honey, I believe your daddy's family's from Gallatin." I nodded, then Pearl continued. Now, this was 1869. My grandfather had married and owned a little farm. My father, Russell, was born in 1870.
Is it my line?
Yep.
Sorry, I'm just so done with it. I've started watching Kaiju Girls. I'm sorry. I just hate this so much. I need something cutesy to make me feel better. Anyways, but how did the name change? Asked Kyle.
Fuck. I was Googling. My father was still a baby when the census people came. Neither my grandparents could read or write, explained Aunt Pearl. Now, most of the slaves had no real last names. They always took the last names of their slave owners. Since Jean-Paul Darcy was my grandfather's late master, that was the name he took. Of course, when he had to give the census people his name, I think they just wrote down what it sounded like. Darcy.
At once, Claude understood the name change. It was those responsible for the names. That explains it, he began, then added. Yet, obviously, your father and then you were able to proper education. Surely the name could have been changed to its original French. Who the hell cares?
Yeah.
No one gives a shit.
Aunt Pearlie and I couldn't help but smile like Claude's innocent statement. Your Grace, replied Pearlie. Times were different then. Why, Joseph Darcy could have passed as white, but he didn't. Do you know what those Darcys would have thought if my father or me showed up on the doorstep and said, "Y'all remember me? I'm Henry's great-great-granddaughter."
Shit, goddammit. Let's see. Great granddaughter. Even though I knew the gravity of Pearl's explanation, I was overcome with good humor. I turned to Claude and said, "My mom's side of the family is really mixed up. Her dad could easily pass, but he didn't. People still had a tough time figuring him out."
I think it was then that Claude Frollo finally understand what I was telling him. My dear, I had no idea. Stop acting like Fraud Clolo would actually care.
Yeah, and he was kind of a racist piece of shit.
Zane.
Yeah. I don't want. He then turned to Jackie and fade her warm light brown coloring and asked, "So this explains the travel through time to find your French relations." He then leaned over to Aunt Pearlie and smiled. "You must be extremely proud of your grandniece. She's very brilliant. Shut up."
Oh, yeah. Aunt Pearl just laughed, her face gleaming with pride.
That's a new word.
Honey, we all knew Jackie had special talents. Like time travel.
The spooky.
She said, looking lovingly at her nephew's daughter. "Yes, sir, the Lord's really blessed her." Then she grew serious. "You know, Your Honor, I never thought I'd get this."
And she pulls out a gun and then just shoots Claude Frollo through the head because he deserves it.
Because fuck Quad Frollo. Am I right?
Yep. Claude Frollo raised an eyebrow and politely asked, "And what is that?"
This immediately punches him in the dick.
Pearlie sighed.
Falcon punch!
Glanced around the room once more and said at last, "I always prayed that before I leave this world I would finally meet my French family. Well, I didn't think I'd have to travel back in time." Ah! With that, Aunt Pearlie was overcome with good humor. Her high laughter infected everyone.
She then died.
Good.
He died laughing.
Like the Joker.
Sorry.
It turns out the room had actually been filled with Joker toxin.
I believe there's one adaptation that calls it Joker Venom, which is interesting.
I know. Fern then said to me, "You know, we ought to throw a fair party." Kyle and I immediately jumped on this. On this what?
Come on and slam, and welcome to the jam. I don't know why I thought of that song, but I did. Yeah, I said it could be a farewell thanks for the memories party before you die.
Thank you for the memories.
Even though they weren't so great.
Jahan Frollo, pouring himself another cup of wine, commented, "A party? Oh, I do love a good party, even though my brother thinks they're a waste of time. Depends on the party, honestly."
Really? Claude answered his brother. Since when did I just like a party? He
Ever
then
since
told
you came back home with that tramp stamp.
told Fern that he enjoyed pleasant social gatherings as long as the festivities are not too raucous.
Yeah.
Like that time he came back with a tramp stamp. Fern just looked at him and said in a matter-of-fact voice, "I am not suggesting a wild, no-holds-bar orgy. Well, you're no fun. You forgot that I was at the Feast of Fools this past winter. Now that was wild. Was there an orgy?
Probably not.
Because if there wasn't, it wasn't wild enough."
Fern just looked at him and said in a matter-of-fact voice, "I'm not suggesting you just read that." Claude acknowledged this as Fern continued. "Our party'll be just good, clean fun. Good music, good food, good company.
Good orgy."
So, Your Grace, can I count on your presence?"
No.
No, I am above that.
With an expression that
Above an
read,
orgy
"You better
of
say
golf."
yes." Claude sent to this immediately told Fern that would be delighted to attend your little function. Then he added, "And so you won't have to hold Paris swarming all over your home. I'll have my men block off the streets to traffic. That way your guests may freely mill about the neighborhood." That's mean. And
I guess it's a
inconsiderate.
good thing that the only way to get across places is through the streets. Wait.
Assassin's Creed.
Well, they're out in the middle of nowhere. You could just walk. Like across a field.
Just wakes up in the middle of a field somewhere after the party.
Could be weirder. You could have woken up in the orgy pile. Jahan then spoke up in mock indignation. "What's this? My brother actually using his authority just to please his newfound friends?" Pearl got up and walked over to Jahan. She patted him on the ass and chuckled. "Baby, sometimes it's nice to have important folks as friends, and your brother's one of them." Oh, wait, that's the shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
She then told Fern, "I hope you plan on a nice barbecue. I always enjoy good barbecued ribs."
Ribs sound delicious right now.
Not a
Once
fan
again,
of messy foods.
yeah. Okay, to each their own. Once again, Jahan Frollo asked about another American custom totally foreign to him. "And what is barbecue? Sounds odd, but delicious." He then turned to his brother, who then began loftily explaining as everyone started laughing. "Yeah, brisket is probably my favorite type of barbecue."
Not a fan of the
Barbecue?
taste of that kind of thing.
Oh. Is my line I remained outside?
No, it's
No.
barbecue. You're correct.
Oh, it's just literally barbecue, began Quadfrello, is taken from the American Spanish word
For hot dog.
hot doggy.
Oh shit, not English to Spanish. As we all know, barbecue comes from the Spanish phrase "poncho." Why is it that I put in hot dog and it goes to poncho? Is that literally just is fuck? I'm searching that Spanish hot dog. Spanish hot dog. Hot dog in Spanish by Spanish Dictionary. Okay, so let's see. Perro caliente is apparently the most literal one. Oh, poncho. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, poncho.
Poncho
As we
is-
all know, barbecue comes from the Spanish word poncho.
Hey.
Sausage. I remained outside while Claude, 2 guards, and a servant went inside the cottage. He wanted me to stay outside because, as he reasoned, I may be put off by the soldiers' injuries. How weak is this lady's constitution?
Never know.
Oh
It
no,
was-
injuries.
It was the servant who came to Paris with the information. Apparently, the ex-soldier had been gravely injured and taken to the cottage to recover.
I know I shouldn't think like this. That soldier must be pretty banged up, but I hope Snowball's okay.
Oh, hey, look, we got a horse. And you had to heal. I paced outside, waiting for Claude. Taking so long. Gravely injured man, you fuck.
Yeah, have a heart. Come on now. Just then,
Or I rip it out of you.
Just then, a stable boy, a fine black horse, and another figure approached the cottage. Immediately, I can make out the face of the man. Does the face make the man, or does the man make the face?
Jihad!
He takes a ball of clay.
I exclaimed, running up to him. I embraced him and said, "But why are you here? How did you know Claude and I were here?" "'Cause I am Quad!" Rips off mask.
Recognize me now?
Jahan, but it was me, Claude Frollo. Jean Frollo returned the embrace, sibling-style hugs. Jean knows not to mess with his brother's women. Right.
Christian side hug.
You fucking degenerate. Oh, God. Oh, didn't the servant inform my brother? Damn, I knew this would happen.
He then said to me, I'm the one who found the man, and fine, but that man, Denisha, I don't expect him to survive. He's that badly injured.
I put several knives in him.
Oh no, a character's gonna die in this story.
A character we don't know.
Oh no. Sorry.
Ooh woo.
So, is that one chapter finished?
Yes, it's been over an hour.
Yep. Well, see y'all later.
Yeah. Bye.
See ya.
Bye.